last week. Came to Waco on Friday, I think. And the weather was cold, windy. Just didn't do anything for me, you know. But today, it's overcast, drizzly, kind of drizzly. It ain't really raining. It's just lots of moisture in the air. I think this is coming up from the south, which would explain why it's so wet. We do have a cool front coming, which that kind of makes conditions a little bit questionable. I have no idea what the fish are going to do, so I'm headed up to Whitney Dam to find out. Took care of business in Waco, and now I'm going to go fish. Y'all hang with me. I bet I catch some fish today. I've done well in overcast days, and this is a good one. I think it's supposed to clear out. That front may actually pass through while I'm down here, but visibility's down to probably 3 miles. It was supposed to be that way coming in from the house, but it didn't. It was nice until I got to Waco. Then it got this misty. But anyway, stay tuned. Let's see what happens today. Folks, let's hit it. Let's get on down to this river. Try not to poke holes in the waders on the Greenbrier. I'm going to start out with a clouser. Got my furrowed leader. I'm using a barrel swivel on it to help manage the twisting in the line and give it a little extra weight to bring the clouser down midstream, among other things. That's all theory. We'll see what actually happens in reality. Oh man, I love this place. I'll tell you what, we're gonna just boogie downstream a little ways. This weather's just about perfect. It's probably in the mid 60s, a little misty, but I think it's supposed to clear up. As a cool front approaches, I can kind of feel that cooler air dropping in. I can't tell, there's not much wind, which is kind of unusual down here. Normally it's blowing out of the north or out of the south real strong. Alright, well, let's boogie. Got no time to waste. Even though I got all day if I want it. Unless they call me. Which they probably won't. Well, you guys can't see it, but there's a nice sized bass swimming around right there. Looks like it's in the 2 to 3 pound range. Let's see if he'll take a clouser if presented to him in a nice, polite fashion. Oh, I see a bunch of fish now, but I see a big bass, long and skinny. Oh, it's gonna be roll casting. This is tough not to spook them. Where did that bass go? God dog it. Lost sight of him, but he's just swimming around in here. Last time I came down here, I exited too soon. I walked over there, and then as I came back, there was a bass right up against the shore. Probably the same one. Oh, lots of ducks down here. They're gonna spook because that's where I'm fishing. Oh, wow. They go. I like mostly mallards. Drooping over. Wow. Well, that's one of my favorite spots. Right where this side meets up with this side, and it drops off a little bit. That's where your first depth comes in. I changed to a squirmy wormy. I actually started with a clouser, then my clouser lost all the gray hair. I didn't tie it very good, I guess. Or I didn't hit it with super glue to make sure it stayed together. It's a good fly. Tie it back on there. But a white clouser definitely is not what's going to be working today. Alright, let's get in position here and see what happens if we drop it on the top side of this ledge. At the end of these rapids, it drops down. Nice little hole in there. Worked during the summer. Boy, I caught a lot of bass in here every time. This whole upper section, this has lots of little bass in it, and some big ones too. Okay, let's see. Let me get myself in position and start hitting that water. There we go. First fish. Oh, and he let loose. I think it was a bass. Out here in the flat. Isn't that interesting? Had him on just long enough to turn the camera on so you can see me lose him. Yeah, let's concentrate a little more on what we're doing now. I was actually just casting and walking relatively quickly. That fish felt like it had some girth to it. At least it's something. It is starting to, clouds are starting to break up. There's the sun. That may do things, I don't know. We'll see. Oh, squirmy wormy's all covered in goop. This thing is definitely running on the bottom. This is my pure chartreuse, squirmy wormy. I've done well with these things. It's a change. Gray and misty when I got here, no wind. Now I got a south wind, 10, 15, 20 miles an hour and clear skies. Pretty day now. Yeah, just breaking in the new rod, you know. Broke it. Infield repair. Monofilament. Wrapped it together. It ought to hold together for this trip. Then I'll just take that. You heat that up, it'll come off and you can put it right on there. So I only lost about 2 inches. So now it's a little shy of 9 foot tall. It'll work. I'll tell you what. I should have followed my plan like usual, where I walk all the way up and fish a little bit on that side until I get up and fish the cliff. Then I'd come back over and fish this side. When I first started making this trip, the wind wasn't blowing like it is, and that has been a big factor. It's a big pain in the ass trying to cast against this wind. It's a deep hole, but you can see that water is really clear. Those fish are able to see me and they're spooking. Not seeing any carp. I've only had one fish on, period. That's a bad sign. I went ahead and changed my gear to my big giant flies, so I'm fishing for giant bass. Or bass in general. But a giant one would be nice. Boy, it is, other than the wind, it's quiet. There just doesn't appear to be anything happening. I'm not seeing hardly anything in the shallow water at all. I think I've spooked out one carp. Started with a bang. Saw a nice bass. Couldn't catch him. Repositioned myself so I could get with the sun behind me or the light behind me, and I could see through the water best, but I didn't find him. He must have spooked, or she. That fish was skinny though, long and skinny. Probably a male. Well, I don't see the big gathering of birds down there that was up here last time. I do see some blue herons. I can cross back over right up here. It gets nice and shallow. Gravel bar. Maybe I ought to fish from it a little bit. But anyway, so far there hasn't been too much to see. Knee deep. It gets into a pretty deep hole up there. That section there next to the cliff out to the other side, that's pretty deep. Can't see the bottom. Ah, look at there, they blew the air on the pipes. turtles are really reluctant to give up their nice little sunbathing spot. See, 1, 2, 3, 4 of them, 5 of them. He's saying, oh, is that guy coming this way? Oh, I think he is. Oh my goodness. Gotta get in that cold water. Believe me, it's cold. It's cold, cold, cold. Alright. Oh man, there's a bunch of water turkeys down there. Well, if I'm gonna catch a big bass this trip, it will probably be right here. Right about where those water turkeys are sitting on that rock. That actually concerns me quite a bit because water turkeys scare away bait fish because they eat bait fish. But they're not feeding, they're sunning themselves. Boy, there's a bunch of them too. I mean, there is a bunch of them. There you go. Let that spot rest for a minute or two, and actually they were past the good spot. A good spot's just right where that turtle's coming out. There's a log that lays in there that usually has some fish around it. Okay. I just had one try to run off with it. I'm gonna be real sneaky. Sneaky as I can be. Hit this from as far away as I can before I come up on it. That was a trick in the farm tank in that stock pond. Caught the biggest bass the furthest away from me. Just had one take a whack at it. Didn't hang on. Finally got one. Hopefully it stays buttoned up. Wow. Took about 50 passes through that area to catch that fish. Ended up weighting my fly down with a little slip sinker so I could catch the first fish of the day. Wow. Well, I earned that one. He took a lot of effort. There. Now I got the skunk off me. I bet there's a bigger one in there. That turtle was sleeping. Look at him, he's not even. His head lowered and everything. Oh, buddy. Let me not disturb your sunbathing. I'm gonna give that bass I saw up there, I've seen him twice. I've seen a big bass up there twice. I think it's the same fish. I'm gonna give it one more shot, assuming that I can get up there without being noticed, because I think that's the problem. So I'm going to approach it. I got the wind in my favor, but that's about it. It just means I can make super long casts to the area I think he's bedded up in. We'll see. Striper. What is that fish doing up here? That is a bona fide striper. I would imagine that fish is sick. I wonder if that's what I saw up there. That's about a 2-pound striper. What in the world is it doing up here? Just laying along the bank. He's probably sick. I know one thing, you don't ever see him in this shallow water. Again. See him? There he's turning around. I seriously doubt if that fish would ever take anything. But good target. You can see him. Just moving downstream, or upstream actually. Looking for cover. That is weird. I've never seen a striper do that. Black bass, yes. Striper, no, never. He's just hugging that shoreline. There might be something seriously wrong with that fish. Drop it right in front of him. There he goes. He might be coming after it. Where'd he go? That fish may have actually been coming after my fly. I lost sight of him. My fly is covered in poop. Oh, no, there he is. It looked like he turned around. I don't see him now, though. Where'd he go? Well, maybe he's hunting up here. That makes sense if he got trapped in this shallow water, but he's not trapped. Oh, look, I caught a minnow. Oh, that's a ghost minnow. It's what you call a ghost minnow. I ought to tie a fly that looks like that. I suspect that that striper was headed to that deeper pool right there in front of me where I saw all the bass. I'm gonna work this real careful like. It's gonna be kind of difficult because it's full of algae, like filamentous algae. All right, there he is, way up in that cove. He's actually tailing. All right, let's see if we can't get in position here. There he is, there he is. Big, big one. Oh, just a little further. Just a little further. I don't think that fish would be spawning. I don't think they spawn that way. Right there, right there. Come on, fish. Come on, striper. Don't be scared. I think he is up here hunting. Work on this fish a little while, see if I can't catch it. Move downstream. That's exactly what that fish is doing. He's hunting that line. Wow. Unless there's more than one of them. Come on, fishy, fishy. Damn. Where did he go? He's fixing to run out of water. Look at him. Zoom. I'm definitely throwing the wrong thing, huh? Wow, that's crazy. I've never seen a striper do that. I started walking back at 2:20 and it's 3:43. The day after Valentine's Day. I'll tell you what, folks, I worked really hard for one little old bass. And I had to go all the way to the other end of the walkway here, all the way down to the cliff before I even caught it. I only missed 2 other fish. I saw one, didn't see the other, but the second one I caught in the fish I caught was the place that I caught, that I missed the second one. So that's probably the same fish. Or maybe a baby of the one that I caught. Or the one I caught was the baby of the one I missed. Because the one I missed was probably a 40-pound bass. Probably. That striper up in that shallow water, that was cool. That made that made it fun there at the last. I think if I'd had a smaller fly on, like a clouser, I might have had a chance, but that big hair bug, he looked at it twice, and then he saw me, so, but he was definitely hunting up there. You could see him tailing. I have never seen a striper do that, never even heard of him tailing in shallow water like that. And he was going around the rocks and everything. He was looking for something to eat. If I had caught him, I'd put him on the other side where the deep water is. Oh Lordy. Well, it's worth doing. Not catching fish on a river is a whole lot better than not catching fish sitting in your living room. Wouldn't you agree? I thought so. Alright, well, until next time, y'all be good. Bye. Turned out to be a pretty day. Didn't know this was going to happen. Didn't pay close enough attention.